Welcome back
You're
to
good.
Unfiltered and Unqualified. Today we'll be hearing from Kaden. I don't know what he's going to be doing, so it should be fun.
Let me know if this comes up right. Ah,
I see it.
do you see it? Okay, sweet. Now I got to pull up my little thing. Okay. Sweet. So I volunteered to present tonight. Like I said, it might be a little bit of a shorter one, but hey, it is what it is. And because I had this idea, I wanted to. I don't know. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but occasionally I will get the shower thought of like, if I were to be suddenly in this fantasy, fictional, or time zone or time era, I think I'd do pretty good. And then as the shower thought is running through my head, I realize, I don't think I'd do that good actually. So one thing I want to talk with you guys about and kind of get some of your thoughts on is kind of what I call the born too late, born too early problem, where a lot of times it feels like, oh, you're born too late to, go explore the earth, just roam through the wilds and see and discover things that have never been seen and discovered before. And we're far too early to do the same for the galaxy and to go, all the sci-fi cool stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever had those thoughts before, but I know I certainly have.
The more I read about Ernest Shackleton and his expedition to Antarctica, the more I'm like, man, that sounds so cool. And I wish I could be on it.
A true man among men.
Truly a man among men.
And see, that's the probably the worst part is after you're done with like this whole thought exercise, you're just like, there's no way I can go back and do that because it's already been done. It's in the past, it's happened. There's no way I can go back and be a part of that. And you can't go into the future to be a part of the stuff that's going to happen. So hence the born too late, born too early. So I got some of your guys' help with some of these thoughts. Joseph, if you're still there, I believe you and your lovely wife said you guys felt like you would do fantastic in the Harry Potter world.
Ooh, Harry Potter.
Is that right?
Well, okay, I gotta give the full premise with that as well. So I just have to say this because she is a diehard Harry Potter fan. I like Harry Potter, but I'm not a diehard. But I was thinking it through, and I was like, assuming I don't get to pick who I am in this story, I feel like Harry Potter is the best chances I have to not have a sucky life. I'm like,
it's just a muggle day.
yeah, I was like, worst case scenario, I can like have the life I have now, and that'll be okay. But I was like, man, you think of like, because probably the other biggest contender, I was like, Star Wars, that'd be amazing. But I was like, unless you're the main character, everyone's life in Star Wars sucks.
It really does, unless you're like in the Republic era. But even then, that like kind of sucks.
Yeah. And so I was like, I don't really know if I want to do that. And then I also thought Lord of the Rings, of course, like that's probably just the franchise itself that I love the most. But I was like, no, like any medieval anything, life is gonna suck. So Brooklyn picked Harry Potter out of diehard love and devotion. I picked Harry Potter out of desire to maximize my chances of staying alive. It's probably the scenario there.
Solid.
And for the context of the recording, like the premise was, the question that I posed to everyone was, if you as yourself, you're not like, oh, Harry Potter, I want to go in the wizarding world now. Suddenly I'm Harry Potter, Ron Weasley. It's no, you are Joseph Dumar, and you're now suddenly in the wizarding world. Like, how do you think you do? Like, would you love being there? And I'm really glad you brought some of that up, Joe, because those are some of the things I was going to talk about. Why the wizarding world is not a great place to live compared to where you are right now. As you can see,
That is too funny.
Voldemort's a pretty big one. Umbridge is basically the devil. So anywhere she is, it's not a great place to be. Aragog, you have giant spiders. Like our spiders are big enough without having magic and wizards. Let me see if this will actually play. Oh dang! I don't think that video is going to play. That's a shame.
I wish we had the gift.
Yeah, I'm
You do have
seeing
the gift.
Harry like struggle on the ground.
Over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
Over and over. Well, it was supposed to be there while I had the video, but the video was literally Joe. You've played Hogwarts Legacy, yeah?
Oh, you know it, man. You're the one who helped me set up my broomstick to fly around on instead to be Shrek.
Oh yeah, I
What?
forgot about
The
that.
broomstick is Shrek.
It's the most stylish way to fly.
That's insane. That's so funny.
But that's what the video was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Hogwarts Legacy, because literally it's canon. It is a canon story, and in this game, you as a sub 18-year-old are going around literally making people explode, setting them on fire. You get them struck by lightning. You can literally pick them up and slam them to the ground like 3 or 4 times head first, and then throw them 20 feet. And these are not unforgivable curses. These are just like 16-year-olds running around with a stick and some weird Latin. Like,
Wow.
that's Harry Potter for you. Oh,
Hey, it's
I
funny.
had to click next.
I will
There we
admit,
go.
I will admit, Kaden, that you are making somewhat of a persuasive case. Ultimately, I think this is just making me be like, I don't think I like alternatives. But fair point. Basically, it's just a bunch of
Literally
horny
exploded.
teenagers with weapons more powerful than guns.
It's literally what it is.
I don't
It's-
know. I feel like if Harry had brought a gun to the final fight, he would have won pretty quick.
I mean, you can only turn around so fast. What happens when Voldemort apparates behind him instead of in front of him where the barrel of the gun is?
No, you just pretend like you're gonna duel fairly, and then you just shoot him while his back is turned.
Oh, I see. It's
See-
God.
See, Kaden,
That's the rules.
you're assuming the premise that Harry has to even duel him. When it comes to guns, it would just be a sniper. You know, Harry wouldn't even get close to Snape. So not Snape, to Voldemort. So not
This
even
is
a
fair.
Is
contest.
Joe gonna bring a gun into this world? Because
Oh.
then he'd do pretty well.
Hey, guns are in the world.
That's
Remember?
true. That's true.
Like it's literally, what is it, like the 80s? So whatever the 80s has, that's what they've got. And then like just besides all the spells that give the potential of doing all that, like here's an example, exhibit A and exhibit B of like what happens when you get someone who's actually malicious. Not good things. Like we have 8 movies detailing what happens.
Who are the
Just
second
Voldemort.
2? I don't recognize those ones.
That's Grindelwald from the Fantastic Beasts.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, I haven't
The
seen this one.
Personal opinion, the first one was all right. I like the first one. After that, it got dumb fast. But it was basically a wannabe Voldemort, except instead of a high school, he was going after the government.
I can get
So
behind that.
yeah. But yeah, that's basically why the Wizarding World's not a great place to live. The other response I got from Tanner, and you want to walk us through like your thought process on why you would do pretty good in the Stormlight Archives.
Ooh.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know or haven't read the Stormlight Archive, it's basically about this civilization who's got these crazy things called like shard blades and shard plate, and they can cut through anything, steel, stone. They've also got like dudes that can fly around and just have a great time. I think I could do pretty well there. Like just as
It's
myself,
like a vacation.
it
Fly
does sound
around
like a
every
vacation.
time.
They are constantly at war, which is like not a great thing. But I think that I could do well there because just of the knowledge I have, I could be like such a great inventor, or like, just come up with all these different things and then make bank, and then potentially have the chance to fly around. So that was my thinking behind it.
Pretty solid thinking. Joe, Tanner, how do you guys feel? I'm not Tanner. Joe Nephi, how do you guys feel about what he said?
I mean, I think that'd be pretty epic, but also just wow. There's a lot going on in that world.
Yeah, in some ways, I feel like I feel a little bit of a forehead slap because the medieval life wouldn't be necessarily so bad, assuming you keep your knowledge, because then, yeah, just be loaded, be an inventor or whatever. But still, I'm like, even the richest dude in medieval times can't hop on a plane. They didn't have a toilet.
I didn't have
I
AC.
don't know, man.
Yeah,
They
but
didn't
they
have
have
AC.
like people that can
I
fly
don't know
you
how to-
around.
I don't know, man. Medicine, anything that's like anything that's not modern or futuristic, I don't know if I'd be willing to swallow that bullet. It'd
Really?
be
I feel like if
too
it was to
sketch.
go back, I would enjoy Stormlight Archives though. I do agree with Tanner. I think that like as far as like a good medieval time goes, I think this would be pretty epic as long as I would magically be somebody who has power, you know. But
Well, that's the thing. Anyone could have the powers,
yeah,
right? And so that was my thinking is I could potentially do it. Another thing, they have this place called Urithiru in the books, and it actually has
Very cool
atmosphere
place.
control, which is heating AC, and they have running water. Like, what more could
So,
you need?
So that
plot twist, Tanner. Plot twist. Instead, you enter this universe and you're actually the pursuer.
The pursuer. I'm a parchment.
Yeah, you're a parchment who's mentally unstable and gets killed.
Okay,
Well,
so the first part is already there, so we're good.
well, Tanner, that's actually a pretty good a segue because I don't know if you remember, but Urithiru, not great stuff happened inside the tower in 1.5 of the books.
Right, but I
Oh
think I
yeah,
could
just
still be
spoilers,
okay.
kids. If you
Yes.
haven't read it yet, maybe
Go read it because that's your first mistake.
but yeah,
Not
I
having
haven't read
read
the
it.
last book yet.
You haven't read the last book?
No,
Yeah, we
that's
won't
my
mention
end
any
of year
spoilers.
party.
All right, I'm gonna
enjoy
have
that
to
before school semester ends.
tailor some of this then. So for those who don't recognize him, Tarvanigan, literally the worst thing ever. Man, I can't remember if it happens in the 4th book or the 5th book. You've read the 4th book though, right, Nephi?
I've read the 4th book, yes.
it
Okay.
happens in the 4th book.
Okay. So just him, Tarvanigan, getting that sort of power, like that's game over at that point. Like at that point, I don't think it's worth living in there. Then you've got the Everstorm, and then just regular high storms, which is like a hurricane on steroids, literally lifting boulders and crushing people. That's just like the natural phenomena in that world. Then just like societal issues. If you have dark eyes, you're basically scum.
Well, that's the other
Like-
thing. I got blue eyes. I'd be royalty.
Right up until the Parshmen rebel, Tanner. Now you're suddenly back down to being a slave.
Nah, I'd just win. That's what I would do.
Tanner's like, I can take him.
I could take them. Yeah.
Yeah, so eye color determined for at least in one of the regions. In the others, it's different. But in the one that we all care about, that's actually important in doing stuff. Your eye color is literally going to determine where you stand in society. Plus, you've got the chasm fiends that just literally, very casually in the first book, just wipes out dozens of people in a sentence. So, like, and the white spines, like, simple hunting trip just kills you. Like, it's a pretty hostile world. And then you've got the 3 gods who aren't gods but are gods. Actually, I can't talk about that because that's a spoiler. But they, you literally are you exist at the whim of creatures and beings who could wipe you out in a minute or less just because they can.
Nah, I'd win.
Yeah, Tanner's fine. Everybody else would die.
Everyone else would die, but not me.
And then you got the Parchment where you being you, assuming you get powers, the fused, like you're not. Good luck, is all I'm gonna say.
But
There's
if
a
the
reason
Fuse
why.
are coming after me, then I probably am a Radiant, which means that I'm probably like got some crazy cool powers too.
If you forget from the very tone in what was going on in the 4th and 5th book, being a Radiant didn't save you from dying to the Fused.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
And the Fused just got to come back to life. You didn't.
So maybe we do want to be fused then? That's what I'm hearing.
There you go. Be infused. Join the bad guys. Be mentally unstable.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, technically, they only became mentally unstable after like thousands and thousands of years.
Right. So you just
Tasting
have to
defeat
die
for
and
thousands
suffer
of
for
years.
millennia.
Yeah. All right,
Um,
Kaden. I'm excited to find out what silly alternative life Nephi chose, because so far you're doing a pretty good job making us all feel wrecked.
Nephi. I didn't actually get a response from Nephi, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was about to say, my bad. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot.
It's okay, Nephi. Say Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Okay, I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I chose Star Wars, and I'm glad Nephi is going to side with me, because I'd be really self-conscious if I was the only one who chose Star Wars. But like in my head, like that's the default. Is, you know what? If I could live anywhere, it'd be in Star Wars. And then kind of what you guys are talking about, it wouldn't be that great the more I think about it.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about the clone. Yeah. Oh.
Literally battle droids, just companies, just occupying planets, executing people, putting them in prison camps, brain worms that control you.
Hey, that's only on Geonosis.
Well,
Unless
I
they
don't know
got
if that's actually. I don't know if that's actually that big of a concern, Kaden. I'm pretty sure those brain worms that control us here. I'm holding mine right now, so.
I mean, RFK's got his.
True. Then again, I don't have a brain, so I guess I'd be immune. That
little fellow will die of hunger.
Yep. And then, like, it doesn't even matter what era you're in. There's always some oppressive government. You go to the Old Republic, you've got the ancient Sith Empire. You go still Old Republic, you got the Sith. You go the Galactic Civil War. Civil War is not that. Just the Republic, I guess, is the Clone Wars. And then the Civil War, you've got the Empire with literal slaves and executions, super weapons that trap planets and shields and fry them alive. Like and then you've got Fauna, just like the Rancor, just chilling, going around killing people. And that's not to even touch like on the Sith and the actual like magical beings of near omnipotent power that can just vaporize you at will. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I wouldn't survive Star Wars because there's a million more things that would just eat me without a second thought, or make me a slave and just make me wish I was back here, sitting in a chair giving you a presentation.
I'd be so dead. But at the same time, if we just find that one magical spot on a remote planet where it's the perfect weather and nobody wants to come, then it'd be fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you go to Naboo, you are set for life. Like, that is the best place to be.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Despite what the movies made it look like, it was actually pretty safe.
Gotta just roll that dice, I guess. I don't know if going to the edges of the galaxy is actually helpful, though, Nephi. I feel like half the big parts of Star Wars happen in random remote places. You got Hoth, you got Tatooine, you got Endor, Dagobah. That's what I was thinking of, Dagobah.
Well, the best part is like the worst and scariest parts of the lore. And the best part is the scariest parts of the lore, like it's not even in the movies, like hyperspace. It comes from an ancient empire who discovered it. No one who uses it like in the movies or any of the like mainstream stories or eras, like none of them actually understand it. They have ships that just regularly disappear and they have no clue like how this happens. They're just like, we're going to use this technology we found and hope it works out.
Just poop.
Nuh-uh.
Is that really
Yeah.
the lore?
That's awesome.
It's literally the lore. It comes from, I think it's the Rakadan Empire, which fell like thousands of years before Revan, which was thousands of years before like the movies, and they discovered it. And then when their slave races rebelled and kind of populated the rest of the galaxy, they're just like, we're going to keep this. We don't know how it works, but it works most of the time.
That's
Dang, I
crazy.
did not know that.
And then you got things like the Star Weird on the left. That's literally just like, I'm going to haunt space and kill
Yeah, what
whoever
is
I
that
see.
thing?
That is a Star Weird. It literally is only found in space. It will go on your ship even if you're in hyperspace. If it sees you, it hits you with a telepathic scream to stun you and then tears you apart.
Dang.
It's literally so evil the Jedi thought it was like a physical manifestation of the dark side.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's creepy. Just looking at it, I'm like, ugh.
Oh, and the best part is death isn't like even the end. The Grand Inquisitor, like he literally got cursed. So after he died, he had to guard a Sith holocron, and he couldn't be killed. Luke beat him like a dozen times, and he just like reformed and said, "This is worse than death. Just take it and go." At this point,
Wow.
Whoa.
so in other words, I
Hardcore,
wouldn't
man.
survive Star Wars. But that kind of brings me to the actual like point of this presentation is we are right when and where we are meant to be.
Woo!
Yeah. Like we believe in, many worlds without number, and just numerous and numberless concourses of God's children. And that's beyond of what's just us here on this earth. And it kind of makes you wonder when you think about it that way, why not only were we born in a time where we're not going to be able to explore and sail the seven seas and venture into the deep forests and meet indigenous tribes and just settle and explore and discover, why it makes you wonder why you weren't put on this earth during that time. And that's because the purpose that we're here for is more important than anything at any other time. We believe that we're in basically the prelude to the end of times, and that God's work is on this earth is coming to an end. It's coming to that point, and these are the final days before the harvest. So I really like these quotes from President Monson and President Nelson. He says, "Sometimes we let our thoughts of tomorrow take up too much of today. Daydreaming of the past and longing for the future may provide comfort, but will not take the place of living in the present. This is our day of opportunity, and we must grasp it." And President Nelson said, "You were sent to Earth at this precise time, the most crucial time in the history of the world, to help gather Israel." That's really the point of what we're here for. John 9, 1 through 3. Joe, if you wouldn't mind reading that. I don't like reading that loud for a
Yeah.
long time.
And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God shall be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work.
Thank you. So the whole premise of this is, at that time, a pretty popular belief was, something bad happened to you, or if you were quote unquote cursed with something like blindness, it was because, and from birth, that is, it's because an ancestor of yours sinned and you're still suffering for that sin. This is Jesus saying that's not the case. You're not responsible for the sins of others. You have a purpose. This man's purpose here for being blind is so that he can be a tool that I can use to show the goodness and the miracles of God. And that's one of the reasons why he's here. And that's one of the reasons why we are where we are, because we each have a purpose to be a tool in the hands of the Lord. However that may be, it can be different for each of us, but we are all servants and instruments to further the work of God. And I truly do believe that. I believe that this is our time to discover our purpose and to expound upon our calling, I guess. And I leave it at that in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Man, beautiful. So I guess the logical next step would be to decide the best fantasy universe to live in.
Oh.
Never mind, Kaden just left.
Exactly.
He's
I
back.
didn't mean,
Oh,
I
there
didn't
we
mean to
go.
do that. I just meant to hit stop sharing.
Talk about a mic
That's
drop.
funny.
Bitch.
He's just done. He knows what's up.
Apparently.
Yeah. Oh, that was awesome, Kaden. I love that. That was so fun
That was so good.
to I guess recognize how the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, and I don't think I catch myself daydreaming about fantasy worlds quite as much as my youth, but it's still a decent amount. And holy cow, is all the time in youth, It's like, man, I just want to live in some cool Avatar. Oh, I didn't think about that, you guys. Avatar, that would have been a really good world
Now,
too.
hold on.
The last
Which one are we? Okay, Last
The Last
Airbender.
Airbender.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, that was so cool to get the run through that. Look, these hyped up places got their problems too,
Mm-hmm.
So and that we're at the place we are now for a purpose. That was a really, really cool tie-in. I did not see those connections before in my life, but I do now, and I like them. So thanks.
Yeah, I love those. I especially love it. Just made me think more about how like why would I think like, oh, why do I want to live in that world? Why do I want to like go be a part of those cool fantasy places? And at least as of now, while I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, like there's plenty of things that would be nice about it, right? But I think it's in large part comes down to because the good guys win, because stuff gets done, because cool things happen, right? It's not just the conveniences and not just because, ooh, that'd be fun. Like, of course, we would want fun things. Of course, we want conveniences or just fun experiences, but not necessarily to live in, right? But as far as what makes me want to like live in one of these places, it's because like the good stuff happens that in the end, the impact is there that our people, the main characters that we fall in love with and are so excited for and are rooting for the whole time, like end up carrying through, or they die, but the mission's good anyways. Whatever happens in the end. So I guess I don't know, just kind of making me think of that idea, like from the quotes you shared, President Monson and President Nelson, that it's not just that like, hey, we're here in this time because like this is our time, but it's that we have stuff to do. So like we gotta. What did President Monson say at the very end there? I forgot. It's like we must take advantage of the time or something like that. So like,
Yeah, this is like the day of our opportunity. We must seize it or something like that.
yeah, we must seize it. Yeah, so we're living in a pretty darn cool fantasy world with glass that tells us things that happen across the world, and we can fly like the birds, and it's incredible. I feel like for me at least, it's a good reminder to not become apathetic towards life, but to become engaged and very actively so.
Cool. You missed it, Kitten, but Tanner also invited us to do a brawl to decide what actually is the best alternate world now. I'm so down. I'm actually leaning towards Avatar now, you guys. That was definitely the world I wanted to be in the most as a kid. Like to have fire come from my fingertips.
You'd be a firebender? Gross, dude.
I think
You
Firebender would be
kidding me?
so cool. Firebender also
The
would
fi-
probably be like the most. Oh, no, I was going to say the most useful nowadays, but probably not so much nowadays. Actually, probably more like waterbending.
I would think waterbending. It's
Ooh.
just like the most versatile out of all of them.
Yeah,
That's true. Once
just
you learn
like crowds and
bloodbending, you
everything.
win every fight.
True.
And every fight, you can still fly on water with clouds. You can bloodbend. Okay, yeah, water. I would definitely do water.
I don't know. I think air is pretty cool too.
Air's cool,
I
but
like
if you can
that
just
one.
bloodbend everybody else, then
I don't know, man. You got to be bald to be an airbender. That's what's cool.
Hey, I'm almost there. I could do it.
You'd look good with some arrows, Kaden. You could pull it off.
There's. Well, let's see. What are some competitors then? So if there's Avatar, there's like Lord of the Rings, which I don't think I'd want to do Lord of the Rings.
I don't think I would either.
Maybe like after the ring was destroyed, but not before.
That's just-
even
that's
after,
maybe-
like, there's still be a lot.
Hold on,
Maybe-
that's just living in medieval England in Europe.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe we should add the caveat that you can pick your character. You can pick who you'd be. In that case, then that I think in that case maybe I'd do Star Wars. I think that Luke had a pretty good life, and to have all the technological advancements of Star Wars, that's pretty nice.
That's fair. That's fair.
Actually, I would get rid of all. I would do like Legends Luke, not
Oh, yeah.
7, 8, 9 Luke. That one doesn't count.
It's not
Wait,
really
when he's
that
old and crabby and isolating himself from everything.
Yeah, no, not that dude. Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay. So, Avatar, Star Wars. We talked about Harry Potter. What are the other new ones? Aragon. Do you guys remember Aragon?
Weird, that would be cool.
I've only watched the movie. I read the first book a long time ago. I don't remember enough details to say whether I'd want to or not.
I really don't remember enough details either. I just remember like 2 scenes from the movie. I read, I think, the first 2 books. Aragon and what was it, Elvis? Or something? I
I
don't
don't remember.
Ooh,
The
how
books are crazy good.
about Alloy of Law?
Mm.
Still in the
Ooh.
Cosmere, but
Mistborn.
it's not Roshar.
Okay, I actually have not yet read that series.
What?
So I've read the first part of Mistborn, but not the second part. It's like the first 3 books, but not the second 3 books.
Okay, well now you can't until you catch up on book 5.
Okay. I got 3 weeks, and then I'm done with school, and then I'll be able to catch up on book 5.
Sweet.
Woohoo!
But yeah, I mean, Alloy of Law is literally just it's Mistborn except the Wild West.
Cowboys,
Yeah.
guns.
They got trains. They got the starting of like electricity being like implemented widespread into the cities. But then they're still just like, yeah, I'm gonna put a coin down. I'm just gonna fly through the air.
like steampunky.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. In the past, steampunk has never really appealed too much to me, because I feel like it's like just it's the world in its awkward phase, where it's not like in its infancy with the medieval era, but it's also not cool yet with like modern stuff. But I don't know, the more that I've gotten into some more steampunk era type things, I'm like, oh, actually, that's pretty cool.
It looks pretty sweet.
I was not. I've never been a big cowboy person, Nephi, and I was very turned off at the idea that the Mistborn universe that I loved so much was now Cowboy Land. But they're actually amazing. They're really good.
That was good to hear.
I think his next trilogy in that world, I think he said he's planning on it being like sci-fi, like starting to travel between worlds and that sort of thing.
Dang, so like past the modern time, huh?
Yep.
Okay, that's pretty good. Something works pretty fast.
That'd probably be
Well-
it for me, would be Alloy of Law. I'd love to live back in Cowboys with magic.
That does sound cool.
All right, 2 down, 2 to go. You, Nephi, and Tanner.
Joe, you could always live in Grace real estate developer world.
Oh my goodness, that would be so fun.
Ooh,
I did think about
Nephi,
that one, but I
you-
didn't think anybody else would get it. That's right.
I
I
think
thought about
you
that
would-
last time.
I think you totally should, Nephi.
I think I would. I think that would be mine.
You'd be a great Lloyd. I mean, you wouldn't be ugly, but
That's
You'd be
okay. I
ruthless.
get what I want.
Honestly, you at that point you should avoid being Lloyd. Lloyd does all the work. He's ugly, and everyone else lives a great life because of him.
Then I'll just be Javier.
oh yeah.
I would
That'd
just
be
be
good.
myself. Just go be like, hey, I'm living in your guys' village now. Like, let's build stuff. It's a
That's
good
true,
life.
actually. That would be so much easier. But then it's just like, what's the point of going to another world if I'm not the main character, you know?
Dude, there's orcs, there's elves, there's mermaids.
Okay, that's true. That is pretty sick. That's pretty sick.
Oh, That's cool. What about you, Tanner? What's your final decision?
I'm not sure. I still think Stormlight would be cool. Just chilling in Urithiru and getting those showers, getting the
It-
AC. Be nice.
It would be super cool. What would be your character choice?
Just any windrunner, I think, so I could fly. I think that would be so fun.
That's
That would be
cool.
epic. You didn't want to be what is
Oh, cool.
I think Tanner wants to be the Lopin.
No, I don't think I'm happy
Yeah.
enough for that.
That's funny. The Lopin.
Hey, cousin.
Yeah. 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 Oh, so fun. Oh, so fun.
I don't know, fam.
So cool,
All the
Kaden.
listeners out there, Joseph is getting tired. He's also just getting over pneumonia, so
Mhm.
Yep.
yeah.
Joe's in recovery.
Yeah, I counted up. I've been pumped with 5 drugs that they just keep pumping me with, and I'm definitely getting better because of it. Most of them oral. Some of them are by butt. Or I guess by carry or by shot by butt. They don't go up the butt, but
That's
I know some medications do that, so I had to clarify that distinction.
probably more comfortable that
That
way.
is like still brutal.
Almost done. I got to check up Wednesday to see. I didn't realize this fun side interesting update. I talked to the nurse, and the nurse was like, "Oh yeah, it looks like it was a bad one. Like you had pneumonia, but you're probably okay." I finally met with my doctor again, and she's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm starting to feel a lot better." And she's like, "That's good, man." When I like heard your lungs, I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's just pneumonia." Then I saw your X-rays, and it was like, "Man, give it a couple more days, maybe a week, you would have had to go to the hospital." I was like, "What?"
Oh my gosh, jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, "Holy cow." So she's like, "Yeah, I was amazed that you were able to like function like you were." So human body's amazing, and I'm grateful I was not in the hospital, and it's honestly just cool bragging rights now, So
Oh yeah.
that's cool.
I got scarring on my lungs and you don't.
Hoorah. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm gonna hit the hay, y'all.